symmetry.
Yeah, it's symmetrical. I also have to lose some cards. They're blood gas, but trust me, this is just as bad for me. I really wanted to play that 2/1 for 2 black, and now I don't get to. I guess it'll just have to have some kind of obscured triggering ability in the graveyard.
Yeah, so that's actually a pretty good opener for James.
Yeah, and what is Keith looking at?
He's looking at...
I'm seeing black cards as...
Looks like a Turbo Depths deck, possibly.
Okay.
I do see a Vampire Hexmage, and this isn't the... Did we see Keith earlier?
No.
Because I feel like we're seeing kind of the same deck right now. Yep, Duress.
That's going to kind of take the sting out just a little bit of this this opener from our Pox player.
Yeah.
The jig is up.
Yeah, it's kind of... That sort of information reveal kind of takes the excitement away. But,
so what is he taking? Because I assume it has to be the sinkhole.
Probably the sinkhole, probably the chalice. I mean, it really
depends.
depends.
I think there's an argument for either. Definitely the Lily Last Hope. I don't think is super relevant. Well, I mean, it's good, but it's not. You know what I mean? It's not the things that are just going to wreck you.
So he took the sinkhole.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's kind of tricky right now because with the Maze of Ith,
did James draw another chalice? I think he did.
Yep. So he plays chalice for 0. That's kind of an interesting one there.
So we're gonna wait for a deck list. What does chalice on 0 hit from Turbo Depths?
Other chalices? I'm not too sure. I don't think...
No, because it wouldn't hit another chalice because on the stack the CMC is like whatever, right?
Yeah. So... It's...
Bet you James wishing he'd put it on 1 right now.
Yeah. By the looks of it, he's probably going to take that Liliana. Nope, the other chalice.
The other chalice.
Okay. So...
Someone in chat, help us out. What does the chalice on 0 do?
Oh, another Duress. Wow.
All
Wait,
right.
no.
Oh, no.
I'm watching this wrong one.
Do you guys have this round's deck list?
Nope.
No, so if we could get them, that would be amazing.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, so he's deciding what to do now. Let's see. Because... There's the Hexmage.
There's the Hexmage. Oh, boy.
And Dark Depths. The thing is that this means Keith's going to be really hunting for a Wasteland. Because that Maze of Ith is just going to shut down his Merit Lage line of play. So that's...
Yeah, I mean, James has gotten his hand kind of smashed by, 2 Duresses, but he's not in a bad spot at all.
Yep. It's just Keith wasn't able to get to really answer that.
Oh, okay. Well, Age, Wasteland, I think that's good enough.
Yep.
Thank you. So we do have deck lists. I will give you James.
All right.
And I've got Keith's. So crop rotation. Oh, I guess Mox Diamond. That would have been what the 0 was hitting.
Yep.
So, and yeah, looks like it's a Dark Depths stage. Dark Depths. So, in the sideboard, Keith has got Surgicals, Rite of Consumption, Toxic Deluge, Tireless Tracker, Liliana Last Hope, Assassin's Trophy, Caracas, Duress, and Marsh Casualties. I think the Duress is excellent. Probably the extra Duress comes in.
Yep.
Assassin's Trophy, I would imagine, for, chalices and stuff like that. I think there's a good argument for it. Maybe the trackers. I don't know. I think I'm not super familiar with how you play against the Pox deck, except that they eventually no one has stuff and they have blood ghasts.
Yeah.
So I mean the surgical is probably a good choice from Keith. He's got 3 surgicals on the board. Yeah.
Well, James, it looks like this sort of answers its own question here. Definitely taking the extra sinkholes. I've
Piping needles, bitter blossoms.
I definitely believe he took some ensnaring bridges. He has 2 ensnaring bridges in his sideboard. And I can't imagine when you're up against the Merit Lage deck that you wouldn't choose that.
Yeah, there are the times you have 20 cards in hand, but generally
in a Pox
generally
deck,
not that often.
Definitely not in a Pox deck.
Now, what I kind of like is when, you're Keith and you're sitting across from an opponent that has just sideboarded in 8 cards. And you're like, that's either really good for me and that their deck is terrible against me, or that's really bad for me and that they have so much stuff that just wrecks me. and you're never totally sure whether to be happy or not about it. I find generally, if I'm playing the deck and I'm switching out 9 cards, I usually feel good about it. Because I usually feel like, all right, I have a whole bunch of stuff that just wrecks you. But it usually means your game 1 is terrible.
Yeah. But I mean, I think what really gets me is those players that just sort of snap their sideboard, half their sideboard right in. They just know what they're up against and they just throw it in and you're just like, oh, they prepared.
They're ready for this, yeah.
Yeah.
You want to see them think about it.
Yeah.
If they can furrow their brow a little bit, look unhappy about the cards that are coming in, that's what I'm looking for.
You really want the uncertainty.
All right.
Yeah, so I like Pox decks. I haven't
for sure.
I haven't seen enough of them. I knew I had a friend who ran with Pox.
I've used Smallpox quite a lot in Modern.
Yeah,
it's super fun because a lot of decks are not designed to be able to work off of discarding cards, blowing up your lands, and losing your creatures. And when you build a deck where it's symmetrical but not, because you can handle that in the case of having blood gas and stuff, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I like that a lot just from a deck building. You're not trying to get around the fact where you're doing something so you're like, oh, I don't really have to blow my land up. No, you're blowing your land up, but you're just okay with that. And that looks like a Smallpox, actually. So we got Smallpox, Sinkhole, and
a Buried Alive, which is interesting. Yeah, he's gonna go for the Buried Alive.
What on earth?
Another Spirit and Bloodghasts.
Well, oh no, it was it the Bloodghast?
Yeah. Wow.
Okay.
Because that means turn 2, he has 6 power on board.
Seems okay.
Yeah. Off of 1 land drop.
Yeah. Now, do you think Keith is expecting the Ensnaring Bridge? He probably has to have brought stuff in for that.
Probably. I mean, what does he have for the Assassin's Trophies?
Yeah.
That's really, I think, the only thing he has. The Rite of Consumption gets around it, too.
Okay.
Because Rite of Consumption is kind of like Fling.
Yep. I feel he's probably taking the Smallpox.
Yeah.
Well, what is the other card there?
Bitter... I think that's a... Oh, that's Collective Brutality. Okay.
Probably taking the Smallpox. Because if James gets to play the Smallpox next turn, it's blow up your land, discard a card, and he just pitches probably the Collective Brutality, actually.
Yeah. I mean, this is really difficult because he can Sinkhole either way, and he would have Bloodghasts.
Yep. So there goes the Sinkhole. So I guess that makes sense because the Smallpox at least is quote unquote symmetrical.
Yeah. Symmetrical. But it also really
James, I love this deck.
Yeah.
This is great.
This is looking really fun.
Yep. So here's my 3 Bloodghasts, landfall trigger, and that is a fetch land. So if you deal with it, although I guess if he plans the Smallpox, he's gonna have to blow up the fetch land anyways.
Yeah. I mean, that leaves him with only 4 power on board with the smallpox, but
Oh, terrible. To Keith's empty board, that
Yeah.
seems rough.
yeah. I mean, this is what I enjoy about Pox decks, though. Is just
No, it's a chalice. Okay.
okay, Chalice on 1.
Chalice on 1 when your opponent is stuck on 1 land seems good. You know?
It's a little incredulous.
You
in a way.
either if you don't draw land, then if you have spells, it doesn't matter.
I mean,
Yeah.
Keith does have an Urborg in hand, which he's gonna play.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what he's gonna Hexmage.
Hexmage. Okay.
So this would
Oh,
actually,
so the smallpox is going to be brutal.
yeah. This is, I mean, what Keith can do is responsibly knock off the
The counter on the chalice.
yeah. I think if Keith was playing this right, he probably took the Mox Diamonds out.
Yeah.
Oh, Collective Brutality.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so
So James is valuing the ability to get something specific, which I guess the Lily Last Hope. Oh, and there's an Assassin's Trophy, Ghost Quarter,
So
lots of lands. So you know what, the smallpox would have actually been pretty mediocre there. So
Yeah.
definitely the proper read from James for sure.
yep. That was quite well done.
Yeah, and I think Keith kind of, he's got Lily Last Hope, which I guess it can tick up on a blood gas and then just die, which doesn't seem the best.
Yeah. It's, I mean, right now he really doesn't have a lot of answers.
No,
And-
the turn 2 3 blood gas actually really really powerful.
Yeah.
Quite impressed with that.
So, and even if he does draw an answer now, like, there's nothing to say that James won't just top deck a land.
Yep.
It will get really difficult for Keith once he goes below 10.
Yeah. Once those blood gas have haste.
So, he's going to try the Liliana.
Yep. Mind you, it is relevant that the blood gas can't block. So if Keith
Yeah.
just happens to get a Merit Lage in play, well, there you go.
Yeah. I mean,
James does still have the smallpox, I believe. Oh no,
Yeah.
no, he did. I think he pitched that to Brutality, didn't
nope.
he?
I don't
think he
so.
did.
Oh. Well, he played another Bloodgast.
Yeah, that seems fine.
Yeah.
The old hard cast, your 2-1.
I mean, right now it's pretty much just if Keith can get Dark Depths in play and has Merit Lage, he might be able to.
Yeah, I mean James is off to a very good start. Okay, so the tracker did come in, but
And Wasteland, which is.
looks great here.
Yeah.
The clue token paw print. That is the RK Post clue
Yep.
token paw print. So Keith showing that he is a man of distinguished tastes.
the Blues Clues.
Yeah.
I mean, James can basically afford to keep swinging, I think.
I think it's the only line he has. I mean, those things aren't blocking. I doubt Keith is going to block with the tracker because drawing a bunch of cards pretty good against what the Pox deck is trying to do.
Yeah. Wasteland.
Okay, so the Wasteland is reasonable. So I think Keith has a lot of things that do things, but he's under a lot of pressure. Like, is he going to have time to really get much done? Because next turn,
Pox.
there's the smallpox. So,
Yeah.
you know what?
I think
that's
that-
quite good for James.
Yeah, I think he probably has this right now.
Mm-hmm.
If he draws a land off the top, he's definitely taking it.
Yeah.
This forces Keith to.
Okay, I thought he was scooping him up. Nope, he's just looking in the graveyard.
To really maybe crack the clue at this point.
I'm not sure what he can draw that
He has
saves
a
him.
he has a Bob. Okay.
All right.
That's really pushing it.
It's chump blocking for sure.
Yeah.
You're not going to go to 1 with a bob in play.
Yeah.
Feels like not the winning line.
Yeah. So swings in.
Or does he do it? He has to be blocking, right?
It would. He would be putting a lot.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't block because I'm just that
'Cause,
ridiculous.
why not?
Yeah. Oh, we didn't
Flip
get
a
to
card,
see it.
Be dead.
Yeah. It's another Bob.
Was that a duress?
Yeah, that's a duress. No.
The Sylvan Safekeeper.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And
that.
yeah. That was an expected. We saw him. Pretty much.
I'm really impressed that I'm playing the Pox deck and I'm gonna go aggro. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it really worked. Like in my head, I'm thinking, ensnaring bridge, and he's going to smallpox him out of the game, and get a chalice down. What's he gonna put the chalice on? And it's like, no, I'm gonna put 6 power in play on turn 2, and then I'm just gonna kill you. Which worked.
Yeah.
I mean, it was solid. Like Tireless Tracker is oftentimes so good in these kind of resource battle matchups, and Tireless Tracker was awful there.
Yeah.
Like it was a 3/2 for 3 that generated a clue which you couldn't really afford to crack at any point.
Yeah.
Like, you're facing all this pressure, and Tireless Tracker becomes like a 5 mana, basically. Here's a creature that dies, and you can't trip. And when you're under that much pressure, Tracker just doesn't do it. And I thought that was really interesting, because I think Keith with the Tracker would have been well suited to play the long kind of game, and James just didn't play that.
All right. Well, I think this is kind of the tricky part. I'm not too sure if Keith made the right choice by bringing in the Tireless Tracker.
I mean, I think it's good against some of the things James tries to do. Like, it's great when he's smallpoxing and stuff like that. But I think Keith really needs something for the blood gas, or just the ability to, power out a giant Merit Lage, and there you go.
I think at this point, Keith's probably looking. Is he running any Bitter Blossoms? No.
Nope.
Wow.
Yeah, Bitter Blossom would be good here.
Yeah.
And, James is keeping this hand of Wasteland and 2 smallpoxes, so I hope Keith wasn't planning on having permanents or cards in hand, because it's not going to be that kind of game. And, Pox deck and you see your opponent mulligan, like, you're just thrilled. And, like,
Thoughtseize. Ooh.
Oh my goodness. So, Sinkhole, Smallpox,
Mishra's.
yeah,
Wasteland, Mishra's Factory, 2 swamps.
Oh boy.
That Mishra's Factory can get out of hand if you're not watching it. That's a thing. That's
this is a great hand for James, I think.
Yeah. Keith, unfortunately, he had a pretty strong open with the Thoughtseize, but I don't think he can really catch up to what he's looking at.
Mm-hmm.
Making some tough choices here.
Yeah, this has to be one of those, like, you see your opponent's hand and you're just like, I can't even beat that now.
Yeah.
Like, my opponent is going to continue drawing cards.
I kind of feel like...
Wasteland here, but sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
I kind of feel like Keith probably would have better opted for one of the smallpox, in my mind.
Yeah.
For the mana, you get much more value out of it.
Maybe he's thinking they all cards, no permanents. Maybe he top decks better. I'm not sure that that's necessarily the case.
Well, I mean, the thing too is that if you're in top deck mode and he has a Mishra's Factory out,
yeah,
that's.
Yep. So he's looking at a hand of lands, smallpox, factory. It's looking pretty good for James here.
Yeah.
What does Keith have in hand? He's got the Assassin's Trophy, which isn't doing.
Yeah. He just Bajuka bogged.
Yeah.
I think it kind of fell a little too prematurely. He does have a Thespian stage in hand. So.
Yeah, so I think he's just going to try and survive these smallpoxes with enough resources to hopefully draw into the remaining pieces that he can win the game with. I think it's actually probably correct to have played that Bajuka Bog and just, whatever. Like, because it's I don't think he can hold it for a whole long time and hope to get Bloodghast at a later date. Yeah, I like that.
And see what Keith decides to discard. Oh, the right of consumption.
Okay.
I guess he wasn't expecting to see any ensnaring bridges. So I'm a bit surprised James went with the Dark Ritual there. Because
Yeah.
that
You know what? He's got a lot of lands in hand, so I guess
Yeah.
he's
and he's really keeping Keith off.
he
of
has
any-
at least another wasteland too, so it's
Yeah.
just yeesh.
How unfortunate for Keith.
Nope, and there's a Bloodghast. Which, you know what? I think you just maybe play it as a 2-1 and it's fine.
Yeah.
I think James might go for the smallpox here though. Because, you know, they are better the earlier you
Yeah.
play them. Like, you give your opponent less options.
Especially since Keith doesn't have...
And he can pitch the Bloodghast. So.
Yeah. And he forces
Oof.
Keith to discard the Assassin's Trophy,
Yeah.
pitches the Bloodghast, and, getting rid of that wasteland
Yeah.
Keeps his-
seems pretty good.
keeps his factory open. So, wow.
Yeah.
Keith doesn't have a lot of options. Plays the Dark Depths. Maybe he hopes to tick down.
Yeah, you know, maybe you can Bloodghast by just taking counters off.
There's the Wasteland. And, yep, definitely saw
Oof.
that coming. Is that a Ghost Quarter that James also has?
I don't think so. Could be though. If it is, like, man, Keith is
Yeah,
in some
he's running
serious
one in the
trouble.
deck. So, wow. This is...
I mean, they're largely down to almost top deck mode at this point.
Yeah.
And you know, the Bloodghast is going to give Keith a couple of turns, but it's still a clock, and Keith currently has like nothing going on, right?
Yeah. That Mishra's Factory is going to change.
That is a Ghost Cutter. Okay.
Yep.
Well, James is probably thrilled with his position.
Yeah. Duress. Haha.
Gotcha.
Yeah. 1 for nothing. An unfortunate consequence here.
Yep.
I think he should
You
have...
have to wonder how many times Keith has been on the other side of that, where it's like duress and haha, I'm gonna win with these cards, but they're lands, you know, like
Yeah. It's just... Sometimes it doesn't feel so nice.
no.
Just being on the other end of that.
I 1-for-0'd myself,
Oh, and he Ghost Quarters his land.
and yeah, Keith has basics.
Yeah. It's just... I think... just limiting Keith's options for mana sources still pretty good.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
This Bloodghast is slowly ticking down, and the Pox deck just able to operate. Okay.
I mean, swings for 2. And there's the factory, which will add some extra damage in next turn if he can get the mana for it. Yep.
There it is.
So that's 4 off. So Keith is really looking for an answer right now. And hopefully...
What does he have in hand? I think I see a Bob, maybe?
A Bob and an Urborg.
Yeah.
So he plays the Urborg. Nope, it's Hex Mage. Ooh.
Okay.
So,
you know, I think Keith may be rebuilding a little better.
Yep.
Because, you know, 2-1's pretty good.
Yeah.
2020's real good.
Yeah.
You know?
So,
Which isn't to say, you know, I mean, James still has ways that... Oh, and there's a bridge.
Yep.
Right then.
I'm fairly certain that's the...
And, you know what, he's got a smallpox for a Merit Lage token, so, I mean, Keith can make the token, but it's not going to do anything.
Yeah, I think James's favorite, for sure.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of how James plays it. So he's just going to swing in for the 2. And I'm assuming Keith, by the looks of it, he'll probably... Oh, he didn't do the block and pop.
Interesting.
Oh. Is he going to? Huh. Oh, is it because... the Hex Mage has first strike.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, I forgot about that. So...
Yeah, I think James plays the bridge here, because, I mean, certainly... Well, maybe the smallpox. Because he can't sack the Hex Mage, because, you know, either you lose your token, or you don't have a way of making your token.
Yeah.
It does look like he's going for the smallpox, though. He's got that 2 mana set aside.
Yeah. Well, he's gonna have to fetch if he wants to play the bridge. The thing about this though is, if he does fetch, he basically gets his
blood gas back.
Yeah. I think looks like he's gonna go for the smallpox.
Okay.
Yep. That really just pushes Keith back against the wall now.
Yeah.
Because Keith does have that bob in hand. Still. The thing is that if he pops...
Yeah, he can't do that, because then
Yeah.
he's effectively losing 2 lands.
Yeah.
And getting, you know, no further ahead.
Yeah. So, I think he's trying to decide which land he wants to get rid of, though. Because with the Urborg, he has that...
I feel like it has to be the... Well, I wanted to say it has to be the swamp, but then, you know, Wasteland can just leave you with, like, no colored mana sources.
Yeah, exactly.
Anymore, right?
And given how many... James only played, 2 Wastelands this game?
So far, yeah.
Yeah, so he's going to choose to get rid of that. And does he... Oh, it looks like he is going to pitch that extra Dark Depths. Wow. So some choices that need to be made.
Mm-hmm.
I think he is going to get rid of that swamp though as well.
I think it makes sense. I mean, it's more vulnerable to getting wastelanded, but I think it gives him better opportunity to actually win.
Yep.
You know, and I think with what's going on this game, it's sort of just what he has to do.
Yeah. So. All right. Pretty much pitches 2 lands to that, James.
Yep.
And then gets his Bloodghast back.
Mm-hmm.
So he can swing in for 4 again next turn. And here's the problem now, because Keith only has the Dark Confidant in hand. So he can play the Dark Confidant, but that might just be enough to push him over the edge.
Yeah, because Merit Lage doesn't have haste, right? So it's even if, you know, if he plays the Dark Confidant, draws an ability to make a token, well, then he can double block the next turn, maybe?
Maybe. I mean, right now it's pretty much just a chump blocker.
I think he doesn't block. Because, say, somehow, he draws something, he can make Merit Lage next turn, so the Dark Confidant will protect him against smallpox.
Yeah. One. Wow.
Draw for turn.
Is that... Does he have Collective Brutality?
Yeah, I mean,
anguish.
Keith in a hard spot, but I think he still has outs.
Yeah.
But he just needs to do something, like, now.
Yeah, because he's at 2. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, seems good.
Yeah, and he goes in for lethal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that'll
was-
do it.
That
So, I think, to be honest, I really think Keith navigated that as well as he possibly could have.
yeah.
He definitely gave himself, the opportunities to win that game. But James just so resource denying, being able to blow up land after land after land after land, and I think he cast 3 smallpoxes that game.
Yeah. There's like 3 wastelands.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, it gets to be a point where, like, it's killing too much stuff. You know?
And it's just that extra amount from smallpox, just a creature, a land, and a card from hand.
Okay.
Just makes it.
I'm going to, and James not playing Chains, it looks like, because card is like $1,000 or something like that, and it's like impossible to explain to people. Like, you can understand it, but can you explain it? Yeah, it looks like it's not there.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna get James up into the booth.
That explains it, though.
What does Nether Void do?
It's a very painful card.
Okay.
It's a bit expensive.